Hi everyone, if you've watched my channel before, thank you for tuning in again, and if you're new, welcome. The first job of this week is mucking out the lambing shed. So in here there's probably approximately 6 weeks of muck, so that's the straw building up. What can sometimes happen is as the straw right at the bottom starts to rot down, it can create heat in the lambing shed. Obviously also, despite the fact that we muck out the small lambing pens every time we put a new ewe and lamb in there, we're trying to reduce the chance of infection and disease build-up by mucking out the main bit in the middle. So my dad is on loader duties today, and he drives into the shed and uses the muck fork to grab a load of the straw which we're removing. You can see the build up there and how the muck is starting to rot at the bottom, but how good a job the muck fork does going down to the concrete. Here is the loader coming out of the lambing shed. As you can see, a grab full of the straw and muck. We now drive towards the tractor and trailer to load it all in, ready to be taken away to tip on the muck heap. Later on in the year, when we're allowed, we will then spread the muck on the land and it returns goodness, nutrients and organic matter into the soil. Here we go onto the last corner of the shed to muck out before getting ready to bed up. As you can see, we kept the ewes and lambs in little pens down the sides, but they weren't fazed at all by the loader coming in and out. Next, bedding up time. We've got some fresh straw, rolling it out, and then spreading it around to get the whole shed bedded up. As you can see, the bedding up is definitely taking shape. I am lucky enough to have Hannah here helping me. She's been a great help because I'm not going to lie, I hate bedding up. Here's me trying to film and I have Ralph being a real little tinker, being really noisy, aren't you? But he loves bedding up. He chases around in it, digs around in the straw. Don't you? Good boy then. Are you going to be quiet for the next bit or not? Probably not. Good boy. So as some of you guys might know, I was an NFU Student and Young Farmer Ambassador last year. Hannah is in the next cohort, so the 2023 cohort, and she messaged me. She's really keen to learn about lambing and what we're doing on the farm. So yeah, it's really, really great to have her here today helping and yeah, learning about lambing. Here I am with Hannah. Hannah, where are you from? You're at uni, tell us about that.
So I'm from Lincolnshire, but I'm studying politics at Manchester.
Which is actually really interesting because, again, some of you guys will know I did human, social and political sciences at uni before then coming back into farming. So I think it's really good to show that you can do both. Even if you've studied something different, it doesn't mean that agriculture isn't open to you. And you're into the policy side of things as well. So actually, having politics as a background is really, really good. The other thing, how is the programme? Like, you've met some of the other ambassadors, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've only been doing it for just over a month now. Had the induction, which was really interesting. And then we've got conference in a few weeks,
which is exciting. Yeah. Are any of you guys going to conference? Let me know. It's my second year, Hannah's first year. Yeah. I'm sure she's heard wild things about it. So Hannah, tell me a bit more about what's planned for the next year, well, as an ambassador.
So we've got conference in a couple of weeks, which will be exciting. Then we've got the visit to Houses of Parliament.
That was really good when we went.
Yeah, Lord Mayor's show as well. Is that November?
Yes, yeah, end of the year.
Yeah, good. And lots of other things just throughout the year as they crop up.
Definitely. I mean, the programme is genuinely jam-packed. So if you hadn't heard of it, well, I'll put a link in the comments or whatever. Really interesting to look up if you're 27 and under, is it? Or 28 and under?
28.
I should probably know that. But yeah, it's a really good programme. So the shed is now fully bedded up. We're putting a ring feeder across the middle, as you saw there. And now the sheep are in, enjoying it, into their haylage and a cosy bed for the night. Well, this isn't ideal. What do you think you're doing here, 59? Absolute tinker. She's managed to escape. I mean, at least she's taken her 2 lambs with her. That didn't happen with that other sheep I had in my last video. But I think she'll hopefully head back to where she came from. Come on, lass. So the next bit of video is going to show a lamb, and it's also going to show some surgery as well. So if you're squeamish, I recommend just skip on a little bit. We noticed a lamb which had a small growth on the inside of its back leg. This growth has grown pretty rapidly. As you can see, it looks a little bit nasty, and the scab there has been knocked off, which makes it bleed. The growth does have a slight smell to it, which makes us think it's infected, but we have applied some blue spray, antibiotic spray, whilst we wait on the decision from the vet. This lamb is number 5, so you can just see the blue number there. As you can see, he is not affected at all. He's walking, I would say, pretty much normally. He's a good size, he's thriving and growing well. But for us, it was definitely the right decision to make to call the vet to see if the growth needed removing, if there were chances it would continue growing, or if it was something sinister as well. We have a very good relationship with our vets, as is so helpful and I would say vital for farmers. I spoke to Ryan and asked him if he was happy to film, and he was. So as you can see there, he has shaved the area but also put some vet wrap around the growth itself, and he's just checking out how the growth looks and feels in terms of how it's attached to the skin. I'm just pointing out that lump there. That's actually where the local anaesthetic went in. Sometimes can create a little bit of swelling, so that's nothing actually to do with the growth. The next job is to get the area really clean. We obviously are doing surgery in the shed. It's not as hygienic as obviously an operating theatre would be, but it is much less stressful for the lamb, and he spends a shorter time away from his mother. Ryan just dries off and wipes off the area now around the growth, ready to remove the growth. Now using an extremely sharp and hygienic, so this is just out of the packet, a scalpel, the first cut is made into the growth. Now this isn't an easy part of the body to remove a growth from. It's really close to the joint and the muscle, but at this stage the only option was to remove it. So you can see there Ryan's just checking how the growth is attached. And actually this process has been really quick. The lamb clearly can't feel anything at all. And in fact, he is just very settled in my mum's arms. As you can see, more checking of how the growth is actually attached. And a little bit left on, and there we go. So that is the growth off. What we're just checking for there is that there's enough skin to get that healed up and get it stitched. You don't want it too tight over that area, but you also don't want it too loose. So there we are, just checking again how it will look and how well it will stitch. Here we go, getting ready with the first stitch. Each stitch was done individually, and also you can see Ryan starts in the middle of the wound there. That bit was going to be the tightest stretch for the skin. It's always surprising to see how tough their skin is. And look, he really doesn't look too fazed by the whole process. He can't feel a thing. I think vets always can get a bit competitive over their stitching, but it's safe to say that Ryan did do a very, very good job. Nice and quick, but also making sure the job was the best possible. So you can see there, the skin does look pretty tight. However, the way the lamb's leg is, this is the tightest and most taut its skin would get pulled. Plus obviously there's an inevitable bit of swelling. So we were very happy with how this looked and how hopefully at this stage the rest of the wound was going to stitch up to. Fast forward to halfway of the stitching done of that wound, a quick clean off just to see where we're at, and again a check of the tautness of the skin, which we were very happy with at this stage. Quick little shot of our very well behaved patient, and now a final check of the wound all stitched up. Very happy with how it's looking. Obviously you can see a bit of bruising coming out there, but that's completely natural and nothing to be worried about. Some special silver spray on the wound, and this lamb is ready to get back to his mum. Here is the growth that was removed. Quite an odd thing, not 100% sure what it is, but the best thing to happen is to get it off, and hopefully it won't cause any more problems. This lamb here on the near side is the one that had the growth removed. He's in a small pen with his mother and, well, brother or sister nibbling on some haylage. We'll keep him in this small pen just while he recovers. Thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe to my channel.